was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something and that all of us were starting to lose access to our civil liberties.
The House chamber fell into a hush as lawmakers prepared for one of the most volatile sessions in years. Representative Ilhan Omar once again found herself at the center of controversy as Representatives Chip Roy and Jairi Sentler demanded accountability for her past remarks, comments many Americans saw as disrespectful to the nation itself. The air felt charged, every glance in the room hinting that this would not be business as usual. What began as a policy discussion quickly grew into something larger, a public test of patriotism, trust, and integrity. When Chip Roy stepped to the microphone, the atmosphere shifted. His opening line recalled Omar's now famous description of the 9/11 attacks as "some people did something." For millions who lived through that day, those 4 words were unforgettable and unforgivable. Roy spoke with steady restraint but unmistakable emotion. He described the pain still carried by the families who lost loved ones, emphasizing that for them it wasn't some people or something. It was a national tragedy that scarred generations. His words cut through the noise and drew the chamber into complete silence. Even across partisan lines, members listened closely, reminded that beneath political rivalry lay an unhealed wound in America's collective memory.
I want to just, if you don't mind, there's an effort to try to create this commission here in the House to investigate so-called left-wing groups and fomenting violence and the like, or at least their speech and all. You've seen this from Chip Roy calling for this in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk. Do you think it makes sense to create some sort of commission or to investigate what's happening on the left?
You're asking the whip to step into areas that are actually up to the speaker, number one. Number two, I understand the Chip Roys and the others, why they're so frustrated. This is a left-wing problem. I mean, when you have a Rutgers poll that 55% of people who are on the left politically in this country think it's minimally acceptable to assassinate a president, a Republican president, that's unacceptable. And what happened last week was also unacceptable in this country, and to have a representative like mine at home, Ilhan Omar, say such disgusting things about it's okay for someone to assassinate a conservative that you disagree with, it's not okay in this country.
Next, Representative Jairi Sentler rose with a stack of documents in hand. Evidence, he said, of Omar's repeated pattern of controversial statements. His tone was calm yet piercing as he cited examples. Comments criticizing U.S. troops, questioning America's global role, and appearing sympathetic to hostile regimes. Criticism of policy, he conceded, is part of democracy, but tearing down the nation's core values, he argued, is not. He warned that Omar's words had disheartened veterans and disrespected those who risk everything for freedom. This is not about silencing her, he said evenly. It's about protecting the dignity of the office she holds. His delivery, measured but firm, commanded attention. Omar quickly stood to defend herself. Her voice carried emotion and defiance as she insisted her remarks were taken out of context, twisted by political enemies. She said her intent was compassion, to speak for marginalized communities. But her explanation did little to ease the room. Critics saw it as another attempt to shift blame. As murmurs filled the chamber, it became clear that this wasn't just a political standoff. It was a collision of belief and accountability, and neither side was backing down.
The House will be in order. For what purpose does the gentlewoman from South Carolina seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I rise to a question of the privileges of the House and offer the resolution that was previously noticed.
The clerk will report the resolution.
House Resolution 713, whereas Charlie Kirk was a lifelong advocate for freedom of speech, civil political discourse, and the political engagement of youth, whereas Charlie Kirk was a man of deep faith, a husband, and a father of 2 young children, whereas on September 10, 2025, Charlie Kirk was assassinated on the campus of Utah Valley University while exercising his First Amendment right to freedom of speech. Whereas on September 11, 2025, one day after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, Representative Ilhan Omar gave an interview on a Zateo town hall with Mahdi Hassan in which she smeared Charlie Kirk and implied he was to blame for his own murder. Whereas on September 12, 2025, 2 days after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, Representative Ilhan Omar reposted a video on X, formerly known as Twitter, which disparaged the character of Charlie Kirk and those mourning his death. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X states, Charlie Kirk is dead, and before the body got cold, the far right propped his corpse up as a cardinal for their holy war. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further states, don't be fooled. These people don't give a single shit about Charlie Kirk. They are just using his death to further their Christo-fascist agenda. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further states Charlie Kirk was a reprehensible human being. He enacted his political agenda by preying on weak-minded people. He took complex socioeconomic issues and simplified them by pointing fingers at outgroups, demonizing those groups, and seeking his massive following on them. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further states Charlie Kirk was a sarcastic terrorist, an adamant transphobe. He denied the genocide happening in Palestine. He believed in the subjugation of women. And in his last dying words, he was spewing racist dog whistles.
Chip Roy returned to the microphone, this time with renewed intensity. He emphasized that the debate had nothing to do with race or religion. It was about respect for the nation and for those who had suffered from terrorism. He called Omar's earlier remarks a mark against moral leadership, reminding lawmakers that every word from a public official carries immense weight. Roy's speech reignited energy on the House floor. Applause erupted from the right. Even some on the left nodded in reluctant agreement. The room felt charged with conviction. Then Representative Reschenthaler stepped forward once more, treating the moment like a prosecutor's summation. He methodically traced a timeline of Omar's public comments, from interviews to social media posts, arguing they showed a consistent disregard for America's security. Could someone with that record, he asked, faithfully represent the United States? His tone was precise, his delivery deliberate. The silence that followed was telling. Even Omar's supporters could sense the weight of the evidence and the gravity of the challenge before her.
Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further states Charlie Kirk was Dr. Frankenstein and his monster shot him through the neck. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further blames Charlie Kirk for his own murder. Whereas Clause 1 of Rule 23 of the Rules of the House of Representatives provides a member, delegate, resident commissioner, officer, or employee of the House shall behave at all times in a manner that shall reflect credibly on the House. And whereas Representative Ilhan Omar's actions in the wake of the assassination of Charlie Kirk are reprehensible and affect the dignity and integrity of the proceedings of the House and do not reflect credibly on the House, now therefore be it resolved that 1. Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota be censured. 2. Representative Ilhan Omar forthwith present herself in the well of the House of Representatives for the pronouncement of censure. 3. Representative Ilhan Omar be censured with the public reading of this resolution by the Speaker. And 4. Representative Ilhan Omar be and is hereby removed from the Committee on Education and Workforce and the Committee on the Budget of the House.
The resolution qualifies. For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Massachusetts seek recognition?
I have a motion at the desk, Mr.
The clerk
Speaker.
will report the motion.
Ms. Clark of Massachusetts moves to lay the resolution on the table.
The question is on the motion offered by the gentlewoman from Massachusetts. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. No. In the opinion of the chair, the noes have it.
Mr. Speaker, I request a call of the yeas and nays.
The yeas and nays are requested. Those favoring a vote by the yeas and nays will rise. A sufficient number having risen, the yeas and nays are ordered. Members will record their votes by an electronic device. This is a 5-minute vote.
When Omar rose again, her voice was steady but resolute. She denounced the proceedings as a political attack meant to silence her and claimed prejudice was driving the effort. "I will not be intimidated," she said, promising to keep speaking truth to power. Her supporters applauded, but beyond her base, many saw defiance where humility might have eased tensions. Analysts watching the session later agreed. What could have been a moment of reflection became another flashpoint. Omar's approach, they said, turned a potential redemption arc into renewed controversy. Chip Roy and Reschenthaler closed the session, with remarks underscoring the gravity of the moment. Roy stated that leadership demands accountability, that unity and respect, not bitterness, define America's strength. Sentler echoed him, warning that no one in public office is above consequence. As the chamber emptied, news alerts lit up screens nationwide. Networks debated whether the decision represented justice or political overreach. Clips of Roy's impassioned address looped on every major outlet, while hashtags like #OmarRemoved and #StandWithOmar flooded social media. Veterans groups and 9/11 families praised the move. Others condemned it as partisan punishment. Whatever the interpretation, the evening made one truth unmistakable. Words still have power in Congress, and accountability still matters. Outside the Capitol, Roy addressed reporters under bright lights, speaking with measured clarity. "If words carry no consequences," he said, "then neither does leadership." His composure struck a chord, even among critics. Accountability, he reminded the nation, isn't optional, it's the backbone of democracy.
Worse, Representative Omar's comments leveled that charge by invoking a vile anti-Semitic slur, end quote. Again, that's not me saying that. That's a former Democratic chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Further, in March 2019, Representative Omar trivialized the terrorist attacks of September 11th that killed just about 3,000 U.S. citizens by describing it as, and I quote, "some people did something." Her words. In 2021, a few months before the death of 13 service members during the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan, Representative Omar compared service members of the United States and the Israeli Defense Forces to terrorist groups like Hamas and the Taliban. She tweeted, and I quote, "We have seen unthinkable atrocities committed by the U.S., Hamas, Israel, Afghanistan."
Later that night, Representative Sentler expanded on that message in a televised interview. Omar's removal, he said, wasn't an act of revenge. It was a necessary step to restore integrity in Congress. "If we excuse language that disrespects those who protect our freedom," he stated, "we lose the moral right to represent them." His calm reasoning resonated with millions frustrated by what they viewed as double standards in politics. Sentler stressed that ethics and respect must apply to every lawmaker. regardless of party. His tone, measured yet principled, solidified his image as a voice for accountability. As Republicans celebrated the decision, Democrats countered, accusing Roy and Sentler of weaponizing outrage to silence progressive dissent. Commentators noted that both parties used the controversy to rally supporters, turning it into a nationwide conversation on free speech versus responsibility. Days later, Omar appeared on television for an emotional interview. She spoke of betrayal, insisting her intentions were misunderstood. Yet again, critics noticed she stopped short of a direct apology. Viewers were divided, but polls soon revealed a clear shift. Most Americans believe her removal had been justified. Even many moderates agreed, citing the importance of setting consistent standards in government. The story spread far beyond Washington. European outlets framed it as a debate over free expression. Others called it a reaffirmation of American pride. In the Middle East, analysts saw it as evidence of deepening cultural rifts inside the United States. Online, the discussion exploded. Hashtags, memes, and debate videos flooded platforms from X to TikTok. Weeks later, the shock waves still lingered. Lawmakers invoked the episode in speeches about honor and public duty. Chip Roy and Jairi Sentler emerged as symbols of conviction, praised for standing firm. Omar vowed to keep fighting for her beliefs, but faced an uncertain political future. In the end, the clash transcended partisan boundaries. It became a lesson in leadership, integrity, and the enduring cost of public trust, a reminder that in American politics, words can build a career or end one.